Alright, so this is the third violin performance video, and I've had Baron in the two previous videos, so even though he's not as needy as he was earlier today, I wanted to introduce him a little bit anyway so you don't feel left out. And, okay, so, third violin. I was mistaken. You do get the pretty melody all the way down at pickups into 63 is where you finally have the actual chorale theme. Okay, goodness. What? What's wrong? Um, your part is pretty simple. I think it's mostly going to be harmony to the actual melody. Why are you screaming? Sorry, we're gonna just have to ignore him, I guess. But the slurs are still crucial, and I'd really, really love it if you could practice really hard on getting this technique. There's not much that I need to talk about with you. I'm going to be doing the retard in measure 6, but I'm not going to be doing the fermatas. I'm just going to go on through so that we can hopefully stay together when you play along. I'd like you to watch this video before you try to play along and see where I am in the bow and make a note of that, because matching bow distribution and bow usage and everything is really what makes an orchestra good or not. Baron, behave. Sorry. If you watch professional orchestra videos, you'll see that everybody is in the same part of the bow for things. They're using the same amount of bow as their section leader. And that's how we get a really uniform sound, is because we are all, in the same part of the bow. Even though I'm assuming you are the only third violin that we'll have for this concert, there might be some more next year. Or maybe I can convince some of the people to switch to viola, and if you're still playing third violin is the viola part. So still having everybody match as much as possible. Even though you're not playing the melody at all times, and sometimes your bowings are going to be different than the other two violin parts. I don't want you to end up in the upper half of your bow, because it sounds different up here than it does when you're down here. For the most part, I want you guys to try to stay in the same half of the bow. So I'll just play through it. I'm gonna count through the rests so that if any of the other players want to play along with this video, then they can, because there's time for them to play their notes that they have in your rests. So 1, 2, 3, rest, rest. Rest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. from playing that is pickups into 16 and pickups into 55. That's melody. And the pickups to 16, it's just you and the second violins. The first violins aren't playing at all there. So you gotta be with the seconds. You guys are exact same notes there. And then at 63, let's see here. At 63, you and the first violins are the only ones playing the melody. The seconds have something different. You are the octave below the first violin, so you have to be really strong to support them while they're playing up high. I think that's really it. Just make sure that at measure 35, please get into the upper half. Please tip, if possible. If the first note, if you can't get all the way up there, use the first note to get there. Because these notes that the violins have are absolutely not what's they're not the cool thing going on. It's the cellos. The cellos have the melody here, and we don't want the violins stomping all over it on 1, 3, 1. Like, make these as gentle as possible and help yourself play more gentle if you're all the way up here. Because it's hard if you've got so much, the frog of the bow is so much heavier, right? That's a much clearer sound than, and so we want fluffy, because probably chances are that the cellos, and I'm not sure if the basses will be lucky enough to get the melody, but the cellos have probably had some pretty boring stuff for the whole song so far. And 35 is their time to shine, and they've been this wonderful pillow of beautiful sound for us this whole time. So be a beautiful pillow of sound for them. Don't just stomp all over them because they finally get to do something pretty and you're not involved, really. Yeah, so that's basically it. Pretty straightforward. Practice forgetting the slurs, because when you're playing at 16 and 55 and 63, all those places are melody places, and the other girls and guys are they're probably going to be doing the slurs. I'm going to be after all of you guys. I'm not going to let you slide. There's only like 2 or 3 weeks of school left. I'm really going to try to get you guys to learn how to slur notes together before the end of the year. Yeah, so practice hard, think hard, and I will see you next week.